how much insurance would you say that you have collectively sold from social media and TikTok over the last 3.5-ish years?
In Target Premium?
Sure.
In Target Premium, I would say in 3 years, about about 2.5 million in Target Premium. Just about.
Wow.
A lot. A
Oh
lot.
my gosh.
Insane.
That
Collectively,
is
all across
insane.
social. Yeah.
Wow, congratulations. That is wild.
And of course, I have a team, so we're
Yeah,
collectively, Power 3 Financial, but yeah, it's all generated from social media
it's great.
marketing, so
I love it. And two, is this I mean, obviously there's more to it. It's not super easy, but is this a learnable skill that if someone wanted to show up and learn and get coached on how to do this, is it possible for them as well? What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins, and today we have an extremely special guest. I've been watching her content for a minute. I've been crazy impressed by what she is doing on social media to sell insurance without spending any money on marketing leads, which is crazy impressive. For those that are joining us, before I get to our guest, we are doing two things I want to tell you about really quick. We're doing a social selling challenge on September the 17th. You can click the link below or go to codyaskins.com/SSC. That's the challenge. Or if you watch it after you watch this after the 17th, there will be a link for you to check out our social selling system, which right now we have a wait list. Those links will be below. However, we're doing this because there's agents that need to get in front of people. The biggest reason agents fail is they struggle to get in front of people. And we are finding guests around the world who are phenomenal at building a brand, putting out content to sell insurance. And so please welcome at Casey the Dollar on TikTok, Casey Dahl. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks so much for having me, Cody.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here. For those that maybe haven't seen your stuff yet, how long have you been posting videos on social?
Just about 3.5 years since I
Wow,
started my TikTok. Yeah.
that is awesome. And how long ago? How long you been in the industry before that?
I got into the industry like 6 months before I started my TikTok account.
Cool.
Yeah.
How were
So
those first 6 months without social?
Well, there was multiple deleted TikTok accounts, in that process for sure.
I love it.
Um, I honestly, I spent maybe a few months just doing my licensing, getting familiar with all of the material, the industry
Mm,
itself, but it was maybe only 3 months before I started a TikTok, and I had a totally different approach than the TikTok you see now,
wow.
and that account, so that one got deleted, I started over, so we're officially, just at that 3.5 mark. But before
Uh,
that, I didn't do much, I didn't sell anything, it wasn't until that TikTok, that,
yeah.
that really picked up.
That's awesome. How many because you have 118,000 followers, 715,000 likes. Do you know how many collective views you've got across all your TikToks?
Reviews? I don't.
I
I
don't either.
should know that.
I don't know.
I
I don't know
know
if it
it's
showed that or
millions.
not, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
know it's
it's
in the
definitely
millions, of
it's
course.
probably tens of millions at least, right? If not hundreds of millions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's a lot of views. Like I'm looking through some of these, and one has yeah, it was 200,000 recently, another 152,000. I mean, like, there's some and those aren't even the biggest ones. Like, that's, yeah, it's super impressive. How
Crazy.
much mo Go
Oh,
ahead.
I was just gonna say I've never had a video actually hit 1,000,000 views solely, which is
Wow.
kind of interesting, right?
That is
Yeah.
interesting, huh?
Right?
That is kinda wild.
I'm
What
still
what what
waiting.
was what was the biggest one?
Biggest one is, just around 800,000, so right there.
Got it.
Right there on
Close.
TikTok. Yeah.
Does it is it still climbing, or did it slow down?
It's from maybe over 2 years ago, so
Oh,
it's
wow.
pretty, uh it's plateaued. But
Yeah.
on Instagram, I have a video that hit 4 million. Strange,
Let's go.
strange enough, but my Instagram account is not as popular as my
Eh
TikTok account.
oh, and it's also Casey the Dollar. That's great. You
It's
keep it
also
simple. I love it.
Instagram.
That's
Yes,
cool.
it's simple.
It was, wow, 4,000,000 views. That's crazy. And how much insurance would you say that you have collectively sold from social media and TikTok over the last 3.5-ish years?
In Target Premium?
Sure.
In Target Premium, I would say in 3 years, about about 2.5 million in Target Premium. Just about.
Wow.
A lot, a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Insane.
That
Collectively,
is
all across
insane.
social. Yeah.
Wow, congratulations. That is wild.
And of course, I have a team, so we're
Yeah,
collectively, Power 3 Financial, but yeah, it's all generated from social media
it's crazy.
marketing, so
I love it. And two, is this a I mean, obviously there's more to it. It's not super easy, but is this a learnable skill that if someone wanted to show up and learn and get coached on how to do this, is it possible for them as well?
I think so. I don't think it's easy, but I think
Yeah,
it's possible, right?
yeah,
It definitely takes a lot of time in front of the camera, getting
yeah.
comfortable, and you really have to immerse yourself in what's cool and trendy online, and you have
Correct.
to understand what you're talking about. And if you don't know what you're talking about and you're not comfortable in front of the camera, like those are the 2 places you gotta start.
Mm,
It's not gonna work, right? But those 2 things, we have all of that at our fingertips, and social media is such a prevalent, thing in our lives that practice makes perfect eventually, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like when you first started riding a bike, probably weren't too good, you know,
Ex
right?
Exactly.
And two, I go back and look at my videos. Like we've had over 42 million views on our channel, our YouTube channel. When I go back and look at my videos, I'm like, I cringe. Like I cannot even watch them.
Yeah.
However, you have to get started somewhere.
You have to get started somewhere. My first videos that I mean, in the first, like, set of content that I recorded, I was sitting on the porch of a house that I was renting with some other girls, just sitting on the porch, and one of those videos hit 100,000 views,
Wow.
and I couldn't believe it. I did a little skit, back and forth with myself, put glasses on, took the glasses off, literally sitting on, like a wrought iron, cheap little table on the front porch of the house. Like, and I look back and I'm like, oh my God, like I don't even know how this went. I mean, I would call
That's
that like
crazy.
small viral, 100,000 views.
Yep.
But it totally did. And I look at my content now and I'm like, and when it doesn't hit, I'm like, how come that in the beginning did so
Correct.
well, and I do these
Correct.
videos that are so much cleaner and more organized.
Yes.
um,
Yes. It's
but
so funny that to that note, my team will send something to me. I'm like, ah, that's terrible, and it'll do really well, or I'll be like, oh, that's gonna hit for sure, and then like nothing, and I'm like,
nothing.
are you freaking kidding me? Yeah. What is the importance of like being consistent and constantly putting out content, knowing that you don't know exactly what's gonna hit?
What's the importance? I mean, the consistency, like, just giving yourself that kind of like responsibility or that pressure of I have to post regardless if I don't think the video is going to go well. Having to post means that next video you could have the idea. If you
Mm,
stop, those ideas are not going to keep flowing. Like you're one video away from that perfect line, that perfect hook, that
wow.
perfect, that meat of the content that's going to get people to get excited. You're one
True.
video away always. So if you stop and you're not consistent, like you're preventing yourself is all you're
Mm,
really doing. I post 4 times a week no matter what. For the most part. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And in the insurance world, people are not really looking at insurance content on the weekends. So I let myself have a break there. And it's worked really well for me. And sometimes
mm,
I post more if I have the content. And otherwise, sticking myself to those 4 days, making sure it's also always original content.
yeah.
Sometimes a couple weeks they flop, and then the next week I can't stop looking at my phone and having 100 plus notifications.
Yeah.
But those bad weeks mean that good weeks are ahead. And so you take a break, you basically put yourself weeks behind of having those viral videos.
True. Yeah. Um, for those, like, about how many leads do you typically get or appointments that come from your TikTok every week at this point?
Every week at this point, on average, a week, I would say 12 a week. Like solid leads that are coming all the way through our routing and scheduling process and landing on someone's calendar, right? On average. Some weeks it's more like 40. Some weeks it's 5, right? So somewhere in that, 12 to 15 leads a week range is pretty normal because of the consistency.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
had another lady too. She said that the leads that she works that come from her TikTok actually end up being, she would prefer those than like buying leads, right? Like she also supplements it with our Kaboom leads, and she likes our Kaboom leads and she's done great, but she's also like, hey, they're watching me on video and they're coming in. What's your thoughts on that?
100%. I agree. I mean, I've never bought leads, so I don't know. But the experience that I've had with the organic outreach is that when someone does go through the entire process, even if they're not talking to me directly, there has already been a relationship and trust built, and they're ready. They're ready. But whether
Mm,
they're ready to learn or they're ready to get their policy set up, there has been trust and like some kind of bond already built. So there's no question in these people's minds of, am I working with the right person? Am I in the right place? Is this person, does this person have my best interest in mind? They already feel that they're being well taken care of at that point. So it makes it much easier than getting on the phone with someone who doesn't know you, doesn't know your intentions, doesn't know what you're all about. These people feel like they know me and they know that if someone is working with me that they can also trust them, which is a wild concept. Honestly, it's still something that when my agents will tell me like, oh, Casey, so and so said to say hi. I had a phone call with her today and she's just like so excited to get started. I'm like, oh, hey John, like cool. I'm so glad you're working with, one of my agents, and they really feel like they know you. And so there's not that hurdle to climb over of, I gotta make sure that I build a relationship. I gotta make sure that this person feels like they
true.
can trust me, right? Because this industry is all about trust and relationships. That if you don't have that starting off, it just makes it harder. It's not impossible, but it does make it a little bit more difficult to solidify business.
Yeah, it does. It's such a big, it is such a big hurdle when someone's cold calling or door knocking or calling leads or anything else. It's like, it is the trust factor. It is, hey, how do I build that along the way? Where you're right, it's nice to have a source where it is built in for you. What would you say the average overall closing rate is from the lead on average ish from the
I've
leads that you're
done
working?
it, right? Because we want to know.
Yeah,
Um, it's consistently since the start been around 25%.
nice.
Of everyone. And the average is what, 20? Like
Yeah.
20% closing rate is amazing.
Hmm.
Um, and we're talking about thousands and thousands of names in our system. And it's been in that 25 to 30% close rate all the way through to having a policy and being
That's awesome.
a lifelong client of the company.
Yeah. And you're mostly helping people with tax-free retirement,
All life insurance
all life.
products, right? I mean, we do specialize in the cash value life insurance space, but I often, I'm coupling a term policy along with it. We do
Nice.
whole life, we do annuities a lot. And I now have partners who do the healthcare side, the investment side.
Smart,
So
smart.
trying to, grow our business as well and what we can offer.
Yeah. What was the biggest hurdle? If you look back and you put someone in your shoes being brand new, or you put you in their shoes again and you're starting over, what were some of the biggest like hurdles for you that maybe were mental blocks or limiting beliefs that you struggled with early on?
For sure. I mean, definitely feeling that um, imposter syndrome of
Mm,
like, it's one thing to record yourself and know that like I have something valuable to say. I'm going to record myself. It's a whole other thing to watch a video go off and see clients coming in and then also see money coming into your bank account and be like,
mm,
why me? There's so many people
yeah.
online. There's so many people doing what I do. There's so many people who have probably been in the industry longer who maybe have a better uh, educational background than I do, right? They know more about business. They know more about finance. So that limiting belief of like, am I really the person that people should be reaching out to? Am I really the best person for this job and this to be in this position? And it did take a while to really get it inside myself to say, yeah, of course you are, Casey. Like you're honest, you're
Mm,
genuine, you care. And that those 3 things matter more than where I went to school and what my degree is
true.
in. But those things will hold you back at first because you see, some guy in a suit and tie and he's talking about how he has been in the industry for 25 years and you're just like, I'm just a girl in my living room who, thinks that she understands this stuff, to the highest point and here's this guy who has so much more experience than I do
Mm,
why are my videos doing well and business is so great? And then it really you have to sit back and say like, not only did you work hard, but you this industry needs people who
mm,
genuinely care about other people. When we're talking about money and long-term financial products and generational wealth, those characteristics of someone are going to matter more than how long you went to school and what your credentials are.
mm,
So getting over that was a big thing for me. And then two, learning to trust my intuition and not basically let anybody in into what I was doing. So I have had a lot of people come through. They want to join what I'm doing. They want to be involved, and it's hard to know who to trust. And
yeah.
I tend to be a very trusting person. And so,
Mm,
kind of letting myself down in that regard of like, damn, I trusted the wrong people. And how did I let this happen? And learning that, one, it's okay to be a trusting person and to believe the best in people, but at the
mhm,
same time, having to just really be mindful of who you let in and who you share things with. That was a hard thing for me because I'm not a gatekeeper. I don't care. People want to copy my content. People want to join me. They want to work together.
sure.
They want to know what I'm doing. So getting down on myself that maybe I let the wrong person in or I had, you know, the wrong vision of what a relationship could be or um, just not knowing when to either cut someone off or not let them too close and
Yeah.
not taking that as like I did something wrong, but that I should cherish the side of me that it is so trusting and is so willing to believe that everyone is a good person,
Yeah.
right? But then to find my limitations and to stay strong in that. I think those are two of my hardest things in this industry so far.
That's good. I can relate to that so much too. I feel like I just always assume everybody's gonna do the right thing and wants help and wants to help others and all this stuff, right? Yeah, yeah, but you're right. This is a crazy industry, and it's not always, um, everything's not always what it's cracked up to be, that's for sure, you know? It's wild.
Absolutely.
If someone is interested in learning, social selling and joining us, in the future, what advice would you share and give them?
I would say number 1 is know, like, the back of your hand what you're talking about. You
Mm,
don't wanna be the person that goes online and spits out a bunch of content and a couple months later, you find out you were saying the wrong thing.
Mm,
That initial knowledge of what you're talking about and knowing it without needing a script, knowing it without having to look at your notes, study what we do, study what you need to know for your clients. And sometimes that can mean you need to be getting experience, of course, but there's also so many tools online that if you can get to a point where you can just have a conversation with somebody about what we do and about what products we offer without, I need to look up this or I need to look up that. When you get comfortable with the information, that's when you can start making content that feels natural and people are
mm,
going to believe it. So when you master, a lot of people say, like, when you master your craft, right, that content flows so much easier. And whether the video sucks or you're nervous or
mhm.
you're awkward, you know what you're talking about. And eventually with practice, you're going to get there where you're going to sound like a flippin' professional regardless. But if you don't know what you're talking about, it's going to be obvious to people. So that
Mm,
is my number one thing, is just before you go into it, understand it back and forth, sideways and every direction. And then it's going to
wow.
make the process of making content and putting out valuable information so much easier. Whether, again, whether you're awkward or weird or anything, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
because you're confident in what you know.
Amen. And we're all a little awkward and weird every now and then, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
of course.
I know I am for sure, no
Me
doubt,
too,
right?
for sure. 100%,
I
100%. I'm
love it.
always sweaty, like, when I do my content, even right now, like, I'm sweaty, like, I
That's
do this all the
funny.
time.
I'll leave the studio shooting videos and my wife will be like, "Why do you have sweat stains under your" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm in here working it out, I guess."
I'm nervous for the camera, like,
That's
it
funny.
doesn't go away. That part doesn't go away. So if you
You're
know what you're
right
talking
about that.
about, even if you're sweaty, you're gonna sound great. Like, you're gonna be fine. No one
Amen. Well,
of
thank you for, being willing to be one of our social selling coaches, and thank you for jumping on today's interview.
course.
Yeah, appreciate you, Casey. Also, thank you guys for hanging and listening to the Power Player podcast. If you are interested in learning this phenomenon called social selling, you can check out the links below. You can come join Casey and myself and other social selling coaches who are helping agents win. I'm grateful for Casey and all these other coaches that want to be involved and help agents win. Biggest reason why you fail is you struggle to get in front of people. Thanks for watching. We want to keep helping, and we'll see you on the next one. Adios.